Okay. I will say just a really quick prayer and then we'll get going. Lord, I just thank you for these ladies that are here tonight. And Lord, just guide us as we chat about all the things, Mary Kay, and just help us to be able to support each other and help me to speak clearly. And Lord, we do lift up Jody and we pray for continued healing of her body just everywhere, especially on her hand where things still seem to be numb. I pray that you will bring that feeling back quicker. Um, than she even thinks it will be so that she can utilize her right hand more. And Lord, I want to lift up Meredith as well as she may be having gallbladder surgery soon. And we just pray for her. Surgery is a very scary thing for her. And Lord, we just pray for you to guide her and help her through that and just help her to get into the best surgeon as soon as possible and just be with all the ladies that are not on this evening, whether they be working or they just couldn't get on. Lord, we just pray that we keep everybody safe and well during this crazy weather we've all had. And we just thank you so much for you and all that you've done for us. It's in your name we pray. Amen. I don't know. Meredith didn't give me permission, but Meredith is having surgery probably anytime in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks. Got to get her gallbladder out. So I was talking to her today and I'm like, that's not fun. It is a surgery that's not, it's very common that she doesn't like to have surgery. So I'm like, I get it. And when you have three kids, and you're busy, it's hard to take care of yourself after surgery. So Cheryl, you've had yours out, right?
Yes,
I thought you said you had, and
yes,
that
about 3 years ago.
okay, and it went okay.
Yeah, it's more, well, I spent a day or two in the hospital, but it's an
Oh,
it's really an outpatient kind of thing.
okay. Okay. Well, I thought it was. I told her, I bet you don't have to spend the night. So hopefully she
Yeah,
doesn't. Hopefully she doesn't.
our
So,
insurance actually balked at paying
oh,
because I
yeah,
was
insurance is
observance or whatever.
Oh, insurance is not
Obs-
fun sometimes,
yeah.
for sure. Well, we're glad you're on tonight. Okay, I want to talk first before I go into some more stuff from leadership, but I do have good things for you to share with y'all about leadership. But I did want to talk a little bit. I don't have the new calendar done yet, but I plan on having it done by tomorrow because I do have Janice Trude stuff that she is going to do in the month of February and what her calendar is and who she has. And I think it's really good. And so I thought, it's been hard in January to kind of get going on this if you're wanting to participate. Um, but there's some really great things. So, in the month of February, she's going to do a virtual skincare class. And then one of the Wednesday nights, she does consultant training only. So, like three of the Wednesday nights are guest events, and one of the nights is consultant training. She doesn't really say what she's training on. So, that may or may not be, you know, what you want to do, but it could be good. I mean, all the training is good, right? So skincare class is one night. One is called a night of fun. So I'm not sure what that's going to be. And then the last one's called Turn Back Time. And I think that's also skincare. But she is the consultant only training that I said you might not want to go to is Linda Tupin. So you might want to go to that if you like Linda Tupin. So that is and then, the night of fun. Yes, this is the night of fun. The night of fun, it's going to be February 18th. That's going to be Miranda Reigns. And so Miranda is going to share with everyone about fashion, color, and makeup. And those are for guests to get on. And there will be over $400 in Kate Spade, Michael Kors, and Mary Kay giveaways. So that would be a great thing to get people on. And then the turn back time is I think she's going to talk more about anti-aging and clinical solutions and that kind of thing. So the first one is just a regular skincare, the different skincare lines, and then the last one is more, um, I think, clinical solutions products. But the one with Miranda on February 18th might be a really good pull to get guests to. And then the people that she has speaking on the sharing events, one of them is Madison Bigham. So if you had a younger person, like Madison is 22, I think, she's the director from Lubbock. Christy Bigham is her mother. I don't know if you guys know her as well as we do, just because she's from our area. But they did a whole It's Just Fit video about her. The company did, because she goes to Texas Tech. So if you had a young prospect, like under 30, I would want them to be on with her. And then the second Thursday is Valerie Lucio. She was in the Ruby division with us, one of the top directors. And then the third one is Kayla Steinman, who she's also young. She's Cheryl Steinman's granddaughter. And so she would be great if you had a young prospect. And then the last one is Devin Gold, which Devin is from Louisiana. She is in the future national area of Pam Garner. And she spoke at leadership, and I'll tell you some of the stuff she said. So she's pretty young. She's a young mom. So if you had someone in their 30s and 40s with children, she would be good for that. So anyway, I think those are really good lineups of speakers for the sharing events. So if you just have anybody that wants to be on there, those would be good. And I will actually post the calendar, and I will post, she's got all the invites already done. So I will post all of those. And then there is one night that is a red only training. And it was early in the month of January, but she's doing it a little bit later in February. And that is going to be it's the third Monday. Yeah, the third Monday will be the red event. But I'll put all that out there for you. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, if we're going to, try to do these events, like what would be some potential scripts and things like that. So do you guys feel like you have good scripts for that?
Whoops. For me,
Oh.
I would not be
Anybody?
using it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, there you are.
I wouldn't use a script. It'd be my own personal invite. This is what the event's all about. I thought
Yeah.
it might be of appeal. I'm not, I don't know. I don't do scripts.
Well, as long as you feel like it's not holding you back, like it, I mean, I don't, there could be some
No,
people.
it's not. If
Okay.
once I plug into what the event is offering, I can
Yeah.
just roll with it. I don't need a script. I'll be
Okay.
comfortable approaching whoever I want to approach.
Do you feel like, Cheryl, if you were going to invite someone, you feel good about your scripts?
Yeah, I mean, once I, check it out, see what it's about, I wouldn't
Okay.
mind. I mean, if you want to zap them to me, I wouldn't mind.
Okay. Well, I don't know that my scripts are great. It's like I do think they need to be authentic from you,
Right.
but I did kind of create a couple of scripts just for ideas for us tonight. So like that are short. Now I would add a few emojis in here, like if I did it on my phone. But hi, we're doing a fun Mary Kay Zoom skincare night on Wednesday. We'll share, and then you can put in there whatever they're doing. We'll share simple skincare tips. Plus, we're giving away several Kate Spade, Michael Kors, and Mary Kay giveaways or something. I would love for you to join if you're free. Want the link? I think the big thing is at the end you need to have a question of, don't just say, just let me know, or you kind of need to ask a question at the end. Do you want the link? Want the invite? Can you
I
join
really,
me?
really like that script. I would use that.
Okay. Okay. Well, sometimes
I like
it's
that.
kind of good to have something and then you can change it up, like you can change it up however you would want to change it to make it sound more like you. But this is pretty simple and basic, but it tells them exactly what we're doing, But you could say, like last week, they had a brow night. So you could say we're sharing simple brow tips or whatever. Um, and I think the one with Miranda, you could kind of even say with a professional color analysis expert or what, because that's really what she is. You could say we have a color analysis expert that's going to be on because they don't really know who Miranda is. Your guests don't, but we do, So, and then I kind of put together some thoughts for like the sharing event. Let me see if I can get that one to share. Just a second. Okay. So here I put, we're hosting a 30-minute Zoom, so that way they knew how long it was. You could just say short. Um, with a Mary Kay guest speaker on Thursday, she'll share a little about her story, and we're giving away some free e-starts. Now, want me to send you the link? I don't know if they know what an e-start is, so you could just say some giveaways and not say e-start because they may not know what that is. Or you could say she'll share how the business works and we're giving away some freebies or something. You could just say freebies. You might not want to say e-starts. Would you like an invite or something like that? So that's what I did with that. And I said 30-minute just so they knew how long it was going to be. Because those are about 30 minutes. But I will post these in like in our files on Facebook, Botions Bright Stars, just in case it helps anybody. Sometimes if you just need a place to start and then you can run with it. I just wanted, I think kind of, we need to look at the calendar and you can choose whether you're going to participate in any of these or not. But if you think, I definitely want to participate, then I think the first step is, how am I going to invite people? When am I going to invite people? And who am I going to invite? So, you might look at the particular things that, and think of certain customers. Okay, I want these customers on with Miranda because they really love color. And I want them on with color, or I need to get this person on with color because she's already on skincare and I want her on color. So be thinking through so that we kind of plan ahead. Because I think for January, I know for me, I didn't like make a decision that I was going to be a part of anything. I just kind of said, and then didn't really like, I have to be a little more focused where I say, okay, this is who I want. And I especially want to be on the sharing events because I want people on those. So I want to think through who would I, based on who these speakers are, who would I want on which event? And then I'm thinking if I want to get 2 people on, I need to invite 12. I feel like it takes that. It might take more than that. But if I want 2 people on, I might have to invite 10 to 12. If I just invite 2 and they say maybe, they may not, it may not work out. So that, that just to kind of take advantage while we know this particular speaker's on. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there as we're at the end of January and we're thinking about our goals for February. You decide how much you want to plug in. You may go, I really only want to do this week of it, or I'm only going to do this Wednesday and that Thursday. Like you don't have to do them every week, but it's available to you. So, if you are kind of like, okay, I just need to get someone a sharing event and I don't care which one it is, and I'm going to give them 4 options and see which one works for them, you can do it that way too. So you can kind of decide, but I will get all those out to you guys. I'm going to try to do it by tomorrow or Thursday, just so that you guys can be already planning ahead for when you want to invite people for the month of February. And I think it sounds like a pretty good lineup. So it's pretty exciting. So I will tell you, is there any questions about any of that?
No, good stuff. Good info.
Okay. I will tell you the name of the game at Leadership was change, and how we handle change and how have we handled change. And we have had a lot of change. So, they really from the stage just owned that and really explained why, and I thought that was really helpful. Ryan Rogers did say, my ultimate goal is making this company stronger across the board. And so he did say, and I kind of heard this when I was at the Granbury retreat, that part of the reason why they had to do My Shop there are some pros and cons to that. It kind of depends on what kind of consultant you are and what your customer base is like and all of that. And so there's definitely pros and cons to my shop, but they were really kind of forced into that from the Direct Selling Association. The Direct Selling Association is making a lot of demands and changes to direct sellers now. And one of the things they don't like about Mary Kay is that we're different in the sense that we buy wholesale and we sell retail. So then Mary Kay can't really show the Direct Selling Association, this is how much our customers are buying, because we purchase that product from Mary Kay as consultants. And so sometimes we're purchasing an $1,800 store to get a star prize and to build a store. That doesn't really say that we sold that to a customer. That just means we as a consultant purchased that and put it on our shelf. So Mary Kay was put in a position where they were having to show some direct sales to customers. And with the My Shop, they can show that because those are direct sales to customers, but consultants are still getting the credit for it. And that is going to keep the Direct Selling Association happier with Mary Kay. So that is a lot of the reason for My Shop. So, and they said that since they started it on December 17th, there's been over 42,000 My Shops created, 22,000 online orders so far. And there's been over 1,100 new active e-commerce new consultants. So anyway, he was very much like, I know I've asked you to do a lot of changing and, but I feel like it's what has to be done to make this company stronger overall. But then he did say that his word for the year is accelerate. So it was kind of like,
can I just say one thing while it's on my mind about that whole?
Yeah.
So since, like you had said, and I know for a fact, a lot of my business isn't going to be showing up under My Shop. So like the Direct Selling Association is not going to get full picture of what we're really selling.
True.
Yeah, either way, I think it's just so, like, it's going to be so understated because how many people are doing business not using My Shop?
Yeah, I think that's true. But I also think it's My Shop it is filling a few gaps. It isn't a true picture, but it is filling a few gaps. I mean, for instance, Cheryl got a new recruit. About, was it 2 weeks ago, Cheryl?
Mm-hmm.
And you still haven't talked to her, right?
No.
Me either. She found Cheryl on her website and she signed up and she's done an active order.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have no idea who she is.
Yeah. So that is happening because, they don't have to talk to us as much anymore. And so it's very interesting. And then, one of the directors talked about how when we get a new consultant in, and this is what I heard a lot from directors, because I was trying to figure out with these new consultants, because in the past, we spent so much time trying to figure out how to get them started, how to do a launch, which they are still doing launches for people, but they are really, a new consultant can do a new launch and they may have a customer that's a relative that buys from them from another state, and then someone else from another city, and then someone else from another state. And we were always saying, okay, you got to combine all those orders together, and then you need to order it all on one order so that you get active, and then you get all those orders in at your house, and then you need to mail those orders out to your people. And so that is kind of challenging. I mean, you're trying to manage an active order for a new person, whereas with the new system, they can just send their people to their website and order. Now, they're not going to make as much if they do that before they hit 50% off. But for some consultants, it's kind of a win already. And it isn't as complicated as trying to get all the product in and then trying to mail it all out. And so you still want that. You still want the launch. You still want them to be able to get free product. But a lot of them may be Great Start qualified where they get that 600 in their first 4 months, you know, and part of that is having the ability for people that they know that live in other states or whatever, just to be able to go to their My Shop and order. So it's kind of filling some holes that way. It's also like if a consultant had a website and they weren't active yet and someone tried to order off the website, they couldn't, really. I mean, they could get it, but then the consultant wouldn't have the product. So it's just there's there's some holes it's filling, with that, but it's just such a different way for us to think. So I don't know. But you're right, Dawn. It's not a pure picture at all of what we sell, but apparently it is going to appease what they have to appease with the Direct Selling Association. So I don't know. I don't understand all that, but that's kind of how it was. So let's see. The other thing that was interesting is that there were a lot of nationals that retired, which that has been the case for the last 3 years. So, like 20 something, I think. And so we had our one full day was just national sales directors retiring, which one of those that retired was Lisa Madsen. And while she retired, they pointed out that she got, you guys have probably seen the pictures everywhere. She got a plaque for 17 million because she's the national sales director that has made the most ever in Mary Kay, even more than Gloria.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think Gloria had more offsprings. Like Gloria had, I don't know how many offspring sales directors, where Lisa only had one offspring national sales director, and she was also retiring at the same time. But Lisa herself made, a lot of money. And the funny thing about that, I don't know if you guys have heard this being around for a while, but Lisa Madsen started about the same time Linda Tupin did, I think, or, they were kind of coming up into the company at the same time. And Linda Tupin has said before that Lisa Madsen made more money than her because she always, for years and years and years, consistently did follow up Thursday. So she spent, I don't know how much time every single Thursday making sure she followed up with, it was either her 2+2+2, people that she needed to follow up with regarding recruiting, people that she, customers that she needed to follow up with regarding their product usage. I don't know, but it was always, Linda said she spent so much time on follow-up, and follow-up was the key to her business because she was so consistent with it. And so she had a huge customer base. She had lots of directors. She made tons of money. So that's all. It's something to think about on our own follow-up. How good and consistent are we at following up? We have a tendency to have that list of people we need to follow up with, but we kind of put it off and put it off and put it off. So she should kind of give us hope that we shouldn't be putting it off. The other person that I thought was interesting, do you guys know who Daisha Wingate is? A national from Florida. Okay.
Wasn't she a redhead?
Yes.
Why did she retire, but not due to age, right?
Right. So when I started Mary Kay 26 years ago, she was becoming a national. She probably became a national my second or third year as a consultant. And at that time, she was the youngest national the company had ever had. I think she was 25 or 26.
That's wild.
So she was very young. And so she has done this. She has been a national for 24 years. And her husband he helps run her family's business. It's a strawberry. They make or grow strawberries or whatever, huge strawberries farm or whatever in Florida. That's what her family's always done. And her husband was able to work with them because she made so much money as a Mary Kay person. And Ari Hathaway is her offspring national. And so what I got out of her retirement, though, was, what a testimony to young people that they could become nationals in their 20s, do it for 25 years, retire, have a 15 years worth of retirement income and then still only be 40 something and be able to go do a whole nother, thing if they wanted to with their life. Because, younger people, younger than us, when most of us were growing up, you kind of got the same job and you stayed with the same job for so long and everything, like for the rest of your life. And younger people think differently about that now, and they want to have different time, and so I thought that was kind of a testament to that. She worked really hard, really young, and became a national, and then did it for 24 years and made tons of money. And now she's got 15 years of, retirement money, but she still is so young. She can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, she's only about 50, right? 50,
She's
maybe
not
50.
she's not even 50. She's in her 40s. Yeah, she's not even 50. I think she's well, if she's been in there 24 years, I guess she'd be close to 50. I think you're right. But I don't think she's 50 yet. So she might be 48, 49, something like that. So you're right. I guess if she's done it 24 years and she's 24, that makes sense. She might be 48.
So that's so awesome. And you can just, is she one of the first ever that's volunteered before the mandatory?
No, no. In fact, there's a few people that have gone, like Gina Gass, she was only 60. And then I don't know if you guys were still in, but Carol Swoops, her husband was the football coach for the Oklahoma football team. I don't know if you know. She retired when she hadn't been a national super long time, but she retired like in her 40s. There's been others that have, but Daisha has probably been the one that started so young, and then did it for 24 years and then retired. Some of the others that retired younger didn't do it that long. We've had several over the last 3 years that have been younger than 65 that have retired. And some of that has to do with they need a change. And I think some of it has to do with some of the requirements that nationals have to do now. And if they're not willing to do it and stay at a certain level, they just retire. I think that happens too. And sometimes there's health issues, and they have to retire early. There was most of these that retired this year, I think, were 65. I think the majority of them were, and most of the time they are. And like Mary Durr, she retired and she was older, but she didn't become a national until she was 64. And so they said she could stay in 5 years. So she was close to 70. And if you guys know Pam Garner, from Louisiana, she is 64 and she's about to be a national, and they're going to let her go ahead and be a national, and she'll probably get to stay for 5 years. Because she's just now becoming a national right before she turns 65. So, and she should be a national here like in a few months, I think. So, but it's always interesting at leadership to see the retirements. I think those are really good. So, anyway, I thought that was good. There's a couple of people I learned from that I want to kind of help. I want to do better with some of our new consultant systems. So as I work on those and change those, and my goal is to really have that solidified in the month of February. I want to change some of the texts that they're getting, because through this last year, I figured out the texts that kind of confuse them and the ones that, haven't helped them. And I want to try to get them going a lot quicker on a business launch. And then see what happens. But I feel like sometimes I have a hard time getting them to respond to me. But I'm going to try to, and maybe not train them so much with so much information right at first, but just kind of get them started and then train them. If they kind of do the starting part of things, where they're actually willing to invite people and we get a business launch going for them and all of that, then kind of start throwing more training, but not giving them so much information so that it's complicated for them. So that's kind of my goal. And Chelsea Atkins, I've talked to you guys about her before. I think she's from Georgia, but she was saying, and I thought this was good, and I've redone the and I can't remember if I posted it for y'all, but I redid the little flyer of the 8 and 8, which we've done a little recording before of the, dash out the door look or the 8 and 8. But I had my assistant redo the flyer so that it now includes the new eyeshadow sticks instead of the liquid eyeshadow. And it also has the new under eye corrector on there. So I have redone that. But she was suggesting, like, if you just want to make it super simple for yourself, just show them all the basic skincare set and then show them that. Like, just do the 8 and 8. Like for most of your parties or sit downs one-on-one, start there because that's easy and that's an easy place to have new people start. And then if you want to rebook them then for more glamour, you could. But if it's a newer consultant and they're like, that overwhelms me, even if they just continually did, one-on-ones, whether it on Zoom or in person with just basic skincare and the 8 and 8. Because if you got them on basic skincare and the 8 and 8, I mean, if they bought all of that, I mean, that's an over $200 sell for just one person. And if they were on Voluform, it's going to be closer to a $400 sell, So I thought that was a good thought process of maybe even, making it easier for yourself and not having to, the more some of you guys have been around forever. So you feel comfortable doing glamour, you feel comfortable doing clinical solutions, you feel, and that's okay. But sometimes for newer people, they just kind of don't do it because they're overwhelmed with all the products. And so if we could just figure out a way to do that over and over, and then you can add, supplements and other color products, as you learn about it. So I thought that was really good. What I heard from the real top directors is kind of a combination of both one-on-one parties and, Zoom parties. Some do both, some do one or the other. There's not really a wrong way to do it. It's kind of like what works best for you. For me personally, I like these things that Janice Trude is doing. Like, I'd like to get some people on Zoom, but generally I'm going to try to get with people one-on-one, because I feel like I sell the most when they can see it, touch it, feel it, all the things. But I think having kind of a little combination. And I think too, I know you had a great party, Dawn, was it early January?
Yep, it was January 2nd.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a Friday.
So did you feel like did you have a good hostess plan for her? Do you use the same hostess plan for everybody, or do you kind of like?
Well, first of all, I haven't had a real party in forever, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say I had a non-existent hostess plan. But the girl who was my hostess, she trusts me enough in the way we talked, and the reason she was excited to share her mother, her sister, and then her sister's mother-in-law. It didn't even require me to be straightforward, black and white on this is what you get for having this party. We just left it as, let's see what happens, what unfolds. So when I talked with her after it was all said and done, she didn't remind me that I had promised anything huge. And she wasn't expecting a lot. Now, I still treat her well all the time and do all that. But yeah, I was completely spontaneous and non-existent with a hostess, a firm offering on what she was getting based on that party. It was very up in the air.
Yeah. And, I try to make it simple. I usually try to book people really first just for themselves. Like, if I can get them to say yes to that, then I may say, hey, would you also like to invite, 1, 2, or 3 friends, and I'll give you $10 free for each friend that comes. That's kind of simple. And then it's not really based on what the sales are and all of that, or whether there's additional bookings, but you can add those kinds of things in. But I was inspired when you did your last open houses, when you had people say, bring a friend. I feel like that's kind of where we are, whether we're inviting people to be on Zoom or inviting people to come and go something or inviting people over for a facial. just focusing and trying to get those people to bring people. I think will turn some of our facials into parties or at least get us some new referrals. And so I guess what I came back from leadership with a little bit, and I'll wrap up here, is that some of the same stuff that has worked for us forever still works for us. It's just that we've gotten a little distracted because there's so many different things going on and there's been so many changes. And then we've got like my shop and all the stuff, but really and truly, the top directors that are doing really well are still doing all the basic stuff that we know to do. So I think it's a matter of, so as we look at the month of February, you just need to decide for yourself personally, what is my goal and what motivates me? Because I had this discussion a lot with some people, some people are really motivated by Star Consultant. Some people are just flat out motivated by the actual money they're going to make. Star's a good goal for sure. And sometimes that's really not about the prize, but about what your profit is on that. Though I had a little discussion with Laura and Meredith, and they both shared with me that they had saved so many of their star points that they both used tons of star points for Christmas gifts this year, and it saved them tons of money. And I thought, that's a good incentive to be a star, to save them all year and use them for your Christmas gifts. And so there is value in that, but I think it's a matter of looking at, okay, what motivates me? Is it a certain amount of money I got to make, or is it just that I want to do this many faces so I can build my customer base up this much? Or what is it to me that's going to motivate me to work? And I heard a lot about how we're never going to just be motivated, that we have to start taking action. And the action is going to create the motivation, which is going to create the momentum. And I heard that from multiple speakers. And I think we know that. But I think, so as we look for February, what is it that my goal is? And then get myself together with my calendar. And when will I work? And when will I book? And what will I say? And who will I invite? And just having kind of all that together. And I know, Dawn, February, especially the first part of February, is big for you for your Super Bowl. So you may be really plugged into that, but out of that is probably going to come bookings and things because that's part of your stuff. So then that could kind of fill in your rest of your February. But that's kind of what I left leadership with, is that there's going to be a lot of changes. There's probably going to still be more changes, that we can't be stuck in the mire of the change, that we just have to keep going forward and keep having action and still booking, selling, and recruiting. And that none of that has changed, even with all the things that have changed. And so that's kind of where I came back from leadership with. And Karen Rydell, who's kind of like my favorite national right now, I'm going to put her speech in our Sisterhood of Success thing on Facebook Messenger. She really did. Oh, you're going to be on a cruise from the 10th through the 28th? How fun is that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I just saw that. That's exciting. Where are you?
18 days?
I'm sorry?
You're going on a cruise for 18 days?
Well, it leaves out of San Diego, so we'll be there for 2 days.
Okay.
So the cruise, it's a 15-day actually. So we'll leave the 12th.
Oh my God, how awesome.
Through the Caribbean and Panama Canal and end up in Miami.
Wow. I knew you were going on a cruise, but I don't remember that you told me it was like it's 15 and then the extra days. Holy cow.
Yeah. So I'll be missing more in action.
Well, that's okay. You can miss an action those days. If you work until then and then, decide what you want to do when you get back. Because by the time you get back, it'll be almost spring.
I know.
Wow.
That's exciting. Well, that's good to know. So I won't go, where's Cheryl? What happened to Cheryl? She's on a cruise. Yeah, that's good to know. Well, that's exciting. Well, you could put this to practice in March for sure. Come back all rested from your cruise and you could decide what you want March to be for sure.
Okay.
But I felt like I think it was just good to be at leadership and with all the things that's happened. But I am going to send that Karen Rydell speech, and it was meant for directors, but I feel like you guys will get it because it was the best speech I heard about all the things that's changed in the company and then how do you maneuver that. And it was just so good. And so, I will put that in our little Sisterhood of Success and you guys can listen to that. I think it'll inspire you a little bit and it kind of helps because we've had a lot of changes over the last several years, just in our unit and just, moving from having a national to not having a national. And, you guys all had one director and then now a different director. And then the company has had all these, changes and then, it's a lot. And so those of you guys that have stuck it out, I mean, it's totally worth it and it's good, but sometimes it's a lot to have so much change. So you guys have weathered it and have done well. And so, but Karen's speech is just really good about that. So I definitely want to send that to you guys for sure. So next week we'll be on at 6. And I will show you the new products next week online that are going to come out for February. And I would encourage you, if you did PCP, to print your PCP list and follow up with your customers once that book goes out, which I think it goes out like February 7th. Just because I'm a little nervous I feel like I've only caught that one of my customers didn't move over. But, I have so many customer issues out there. So I just want to make sure that that my books get there, to all my customers and that there's not any address issues. And so we should be following up with all those that get the book anyway, but this is going to really force me to do that because I want to make sure that people got their book and all that is good. So, but I will be showing you guys that next week. And I think that's all for tonight, unless you guys have any other questions.
No, I'm happy to hear what you shared with us. I think
Okay,
I really was looking forward to it. So
yeah,
thanks.
And if you guys run into any problems with anything with your My Shop, there's been a couple little things I learned and little tips and stuff. So if you run across anything, let me know. If you're doing a CDS order or you just have My Shop issues. I will tell you, I've heard that if your customers are registered, it is helpful when they go in the first time to change their passwords. So I don't even know how many of mine are registered. So I need to kind of look at that. But
I have one of my best customers, actually. She can't, it won't let her log in.
And if she tries to change her password, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bummer.
That we might have to call the company. I'm not sure what the situation is because the only other thing around that is if you re-enter her in your system a little bit different, so she's not registered, which you hate to have to do, but you could call the company about it and see if they can fix her particular issue. But I have heard that it's best if they change their password, but if it's not letting her, then I don't know what else to do but try to call the company.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Which is, I need to call them about a couple of things. So, and they still don't have my history loaded, my customer history loaded. And, they did the last time they told me it could be February. So,
yeah, I don't have any customer history either.
Yeah, neither does Laura. So, I'm giving them this week and I'm going to try to call again next week and see what the status is. So if I hear, I will let you know.
Okay.
For sure.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great evening.
You too. Good to see you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you,
if we don't
Angela.
see you before you set sail, I hope it goes well.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to y'all later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.